No nonsense gin drinking. All gin, no nonsense.
Hello gin lovers, welcome back. Bobby Freeman here, and today my friends I have a rather petite looking little fellow for you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to this delight. Well, I don't know yet if it's a delight. I'm hoping it will be a delight. I'm sure it is, the last one was. Let me introduce you to Isle of Bute handcrafted heather gin. Now, the more perceptive amongst you will have noticed that a few weeks ago I reviewed another Isle of Bute gin, which was the Oyster flavoured gin, which just blew me away. It was absolutely good. It sounds really weird, doesn't it, having oysters in gin, but I don't know what they did, but they made it work. It was beautiful and kind of tasted like you were sort of breathing in sea air. It was amazing. Well, they have got another one here, and as you can see, it's in a rather lovely little presentation box. So let's unveil it, shall we? Here we go, sound effects. Ooh, it's actually, as you can see, a very pink gin. So why is it pink? Because heather, as far as I'm aware, I'm not exactly a expert in flora and fauna, but I don't think heather is pink. So I suggest, my friends, we crack on, find out what they say, and find out indeed why it is pink. But before we do, my friends, I have to thank two of my wonderful subscribers who have joined my YouTube members by clicking the join button below this video, and as a consequence they shall receive a shout out on this show. So thank you very much to Emilian Stefan and Ronald Poles. You are both supporters of the show. I am forever in your debt, and I saluteth you. So then, let's find out what they say about, oh God, let's find out what they say about it on the website, shall we? And as we know, well, as many of you know, Isle of Bute is of course a island way up there in the Highlands, just off the coast of Scotland, so I shall be bringing out the Scottish accent again. Heather, this wild purple flower, which we hand-pick from the Isle of Bute, gives our gin a vibrant floral nose. A vibrant and floral nose? I don't think my nose has ever been described as vibrant and floral, just slightly too big for my face. When balanced with the bright sweetness of a pink grapefruit, that's where the pink come from. This creates a subtly sweet and citrus finish. Now then, this is interesting. Hang on, there's a little bit more. Handcrafted and bottled on Bute, together with our heather and goss gins, showcase the splendour of Bute's wild places. Now, what I was going to say there is it's got pink grapefruit in, which is an interesting one for me because I don't really reckon to like grapefruit, particularly in gins. I had a pure grapefruit gin once, didn't like it, didn't enjoy it. Had a great big whack of grapefruit, a whacking wedge of grapefruit in there as well. Not a fan. However, when used delicately, the pink grapefruit seems to really bring out a lot in the gins. I know Steve the bartender's gin, the threefold gin up there, has that got pink grapefruit? It's got grapefruit anyway, I'm not sure of the colour of it, but that worked beautifully. And what was the one the other day? Yes, the Mason's pink grapefruit and cucumber gin, which obviously worked some sort of magic because I can't stand cucumber, as you know, yet it made me enjoy the gin. It didn't make me enjoy the gin. It made it possible for me to, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? It made it nice, I enjoyed it. So I happen to think there's something magical about the pink grapefruit, and obviously it gives it a beautiful colour as well. So my friends, I say we fanny around no longer. The fanny around section is quite literally over and finished. Well, we all know that's not true, but you never know. So let's get on with the old cork test, because indeed it has a rather small cork, because this is obviously a little sample bottle I've got here. It's like, what size is it? 20 cl here. So it's a rather sort of small cork. So let's get that thing off. It's a rather smaller cork than usual. So let's have the rather small cork test.
The rather small cork test.
So then, let's see if we have a squeak. Oh! Well. So what it lacks in size, it makes up for in volume of the squeak. Listen to this. I tell you what, gin lovers, that's the best squeak we've had in ages on here. Absolutely ages. So tiny bottle, loud squeak, good work, Bute. Let's go for the full pull. Oh! A cheeky little pull, I would describe that as. Not huge, but as I say, I think that's something to do with physics and the size of the bottle. But anyway, it doesn't matter. As we know, it's just a bit of fun. So then, let's get it in the old glass, move all this stuff out the way. I'm making a bit of a mess today, aren't I? So, in you go, old fella. I do like this splayed out top, like the mermaid had the other day. It makes for a very clean pour and keeps the gin off my desk. So, not much in there, is there? But doesn't it? I'll have a quick sniff. Oh, do you know what? That's just it's a very light delicate sort of floating sort of essence to it. There's nothing heavy. What's the one I did in my last video? It was the Jawbox gin. That was a very heavy, settled down, sort of fat, wallowing sort of aroma. This is a very sort of light aroma. If the Jawbox aroma was a big, fat person just sat down on the sofa, you know, sort of settled in, this one's kind of a sort of imagine a ballerina just warming up and sort of, I don't know, sort of prancing around. If that's is that an offensive word? I don't think so. Prance. I think you can prance. In fact, I very often prance around the place. I'm a prolific prancer. Not in the street, but, you know, sometimes in the living room. But you know what I mean? It's just so delicate, and that thing when they sort of go around the dance floor and it looks like they're kind of floating on air. That's kind of what the aromas are sort of doing in here for me. It's like, yeah, it's getting, oh, that pink grapefruit seems a little bit more present than I've had it in recent gins. But it's kind of nice. There's kind of a sweetness to it as well. So I suggest, my friends, we stop sniffing the damn thing and mud it with the tonic and get it in old Freeman's mouth, shall we? So there's only a little bit in there, so I don't want to drown it. So here we go. Just a tiny splash like that. What's the ABV of this one? It's a tiny bottle. I'm struggling to find it. Oh, there we go. 43%. So that's excellent. That's a good, nice, sort of healthy ABV. So there's nothing left to do, my friends, except get it in the old mouth. So I say to the Isle of Bute, small batch, handcrafted, don't forget, Heather gin, I say cheers. Holy shit! Do you know what, I was thinking for balance, surely we should have a negative review before long. I haven't done one for ages, but goodness me. Oh, I tell you what, gin lovers, I was a little bit concerned about this one because, you know, as I said, the pink grapefruit does seem to work magic, but in the aroma, they seem to be quite heavy on the pink grapefruit. And as I say, I'm not generally a fan of the old grapefruit. However, I think pink grapefruit must be a little bit sweeter than perhaps normal grapefruit because it's blended the sort of the slight bitterness that you get from a grapefruit, but it's beautifully married with a wonderful sort. I'm not sure why I'm doing this. With a wonderful sort of just delicate sweetness in there, and it's just look at this. I don't know why I'm sort of crawling up the back wall to sort of express this opinion, and it's kind of sort of delicate like the aroma was, but it's kind of, there's a delicateness which sort of first hits you when it goes in the mouth, and it's almost immediately overtaken, like something coming over the top of this, of a sort of a more slightly less delicate, a slightly sort of thicker, sweetness and a little bit of sharpness, tiny little bit of citrus in there, but there's something else in there that I cannot put my finger on it, but it just makes it taste nice. It's kind of a, almost a sort of a light earthiness. No, that's not right. That's not right. It's kind of something that gives it a bit of body. And I tell you what, I think it's a combination of one, you don't get quite as much sea air as you do with the Oyster version, but it's in there. You can tell it's down there at the core. It's that certain sort of fresh sort of salinity. I'm not sure if that's the right word, salinity. I always use that word thinking it's the right word, but I don't know if it is. But what I think is in there, there's a certain body to it, which I cannot quite describe, but I think, because as with Jawbox in the last video, that funny enough, they used heather as well. And obviously this is a heather gin, and it kind of gives it a certain floralness to it. But again, a very delicate sort of beautiful and married. And like I always say, you can tell when people have put a lot of time and effort and a lot of love and passion. And oh man, you can't get much more lovely and passionate than that. Look at the damn colour. I mean, it's a beautiful gin. I'm loving it. In case you can't tell, it's absolutely lovely. It's thrown me a little bit flavour-wise, but I sort of scrambled around and sort of groped in the dark for the best sort of description I can. I hope that kind of makes sense. If it doesn't, well, you know, I've got nothing else. So let's try it neat, shall we? You know, this might be all right, this one. I'm usually just a gin and try and drink it, as you know, so let's try it. Whoa! Wow, it's a journey, it's a journey. Well, I tell you what, that is not bad. You get kind of, could be suckling at the bottle. I'm like a newborn lamb. Well, that's interesting because it's actually not too bad. I think I do prefer it with the tonic, but the sweetness comes through weirdly even more when you have it neat, but it's kind of all like flash in a pan now, bang, and it's gone. So you get like the sort of sweetness, the little sort of the earthiness from the heather, and then the sort of the kick of the ABV, obviously because you're having it neat. But I reckon that could be all right neat. I might do the trick that some of the sort of master expert gin tasters do, and just put just a tiny spot of water in there. It just releases those flavors. But I tell you what, for someone who doesn't like gin neat, that's not bad. However, my friends, let's find out if the price is not bad either. Well, this is a smaller distillery. It's not a mainstream one. So as long as they're below the £40 bracket, I don't really mind. This one, it's just below it. It's just below it. It's going to set you back £38, which is about $53 or 44 euros. So it's a little bit on the pricey side. It is a little bit on the pricey side, but again, I don't mind pushing it up there. I don't feel annoyed for paying that. Obviously, this is a tiny bottle. That's what I'm talking about. It's definitely not 38 for that bottle. That's for sure. If it was, there would be big trouble. But I'm talking about the full size bottle that they do. But I would be very happy to pay for that, because not only are you paying for a gin, you're paying for all that love and all that passion, and I'm very happy to do so. So guys, let's summarize, shall we? Sometimes it's just nice to have a company that you just know. They're small, they're not particularly sort of mainstream, but somehow they have just nailed it and just created a product which is not only really, really good, but extremely unique as well. There's not many gins out there that have heather in them, and not many gins out there that have oysters in them either. So I like Isle of Bute. I like what they're doing. They've realised that there's a lot of gins out there. The blooming market is saturated, for God's sake. So they thought to themselves, let's try and do something really unique, especially with the oyster one. I mean, how many gins have got oysters in, for God's sake? I think this company is definitely one to watch for the future, and this beautiful little fellow is definitely one you should have sitting up on your shelf, my friends. So guys, if you've enjoyed this video today, found it useful, informative, or helpful in any way, shape or form, don't forget, if you haven't already, subscribe to my show, press the little like button on the video, or put a comment below and let me know what you thought of it, and of course press the bell icon so you get notified when my new videos come out. And if you want to support the show like good old Emilian Stefan and Ronald Poles did, then head over to my Patreon page or click that. Actually, no, in fact, they didn't head over to the Patreon page. They went just down there, just a mere couple of inches away, and clicked that join button below this video. But until next time, guys, you knoweth the drill. Take care, stay safe. Thank you to all my patrons and members, and keep drinking the gin.